If you are over 60 and watching me right now, I want to ask you something very simple. At the end of the day, do your feet feel heavy? Do you ever take off your socks at night and see deep marks pressed into your skin? Have you noticed that the shoes that felt fine in the morning suddenly feel tight by the evening? So many people tell me, well, Barbara, that's just age, but I want you to hear this gently and clearly. It is not just age, and it is not something you have to accept. Here is the part that might surprise you. That swelling you see at night is not just water. It is a sign that your body's repair and drainage system is becoming blocked. It means your tissues are struggling to release what they should be letting go of while you rest. And if that continues quietly night after night, the swelling becomes stiffness. The stiffness becomes pain, and the pain slowly steals your confidence to walk. Tonight, I'm going to share with you 3 specific vitamins, not taken in the morning, not taken randomly, but taken before bed, because these 3 help the body drain, de-inflate, and repair while you sleep. One of them is so rarely mentioned that most doctors never even bring it up. Yet in my experience, it is often the missing key. And before we go any further, I want to invite you into something special. If you would like me to send you a small gift that completes what I'm about to share today, write in the comments right now, I want to improve my health. When I see your message, I will make sure you receive it. Now stay with me, because what you take tonight determines how your feet will feel when you wake up tomorrow. Now let me gently explain what is really happening inside your body when your feet swell at night. Because once you understand this, you stop blaming age and you start working with your body again. As we grow older, circulation naturally becomes a little slower, not because your heart is failing, but because your blood vessels become less elastic with time. That means blood moves down into your legs during the day. But at night, it struggles to make that long journey back up. At the same time, something very quiet begins to happen. Your lymphatic system, the system that is supposed to drain waste, extra fluid, and inflammation, becomes tired. It has no pump of its own. It depends on movement, minerals, and proper nourishment. When it becomes overloaded, fluid has nowhere to go, so it settles in the lowest parts of the body. Your ankles, your feet, your toes. Then there is inflammation, not the sharp kind that screams with pain, but the slow, silent inflammation that stiffens tissues from the inside. It makes the skin feel tight. It makes the joints feel heavy. It makes walking feel harder than it should. And then there is fluid retention, not because you drank too much water, but because your cells can no longer move fluids in and out efficiently. Now, there is something very important I want you to understand here. There is a big difference between normal daily swelling and swelling that no longer drains on its own. A little puffiness that goes away by morning can be part of daily life. But when your feet stay swollen, when the skin feels thick, when you press and the dent stays, that is no longer just daily swelling. That is edema. It is the sign that your internal drainage system is struggling. And this is where I want to speak to you from the heart. Your body is not holding water because it is broken. It is holding it because it is struggling to release. Your body is not failing you. It is asking for help. And that help does not begin with harsh medications. It begins with giving your cells the exact nutrients they need to let go, to soften, to drain, and to repair. And this is why what you take before bed matters far more than most people realize, because nighttime is when release is supposed to happen. And in the next moment, I'm going to show you why the night is the most powerful healing window your body has and why timing is everything. Now let me take you into what truly happens inside your body when you fall asleep. Because sleep is not just rest. Sleep is when your body takes out the trash. Sleep is when tissues rebuild. Sleep is when hormones quietly change the direction of healing. While you are resting, your circulation shifts. Your body slowly redistributes fluids. Your lymphatic system becomes more active. Your cells begin releasing what they held on to all day. This is why many people say their swelling looks better in the morning, but returns by night. Because the real drainage window happens during sleep. At the same time, your body releases growth hormone, not the kind for height, but the kind that repairs tissues, strengthens blood vessels, and reduces inflammation. Your stress hormones drop, your nervous system softens, your internal pressure lowers, and only then, only in that calm state, can true de-inflammation begin. Now here is where so many people unknowingly block their own healing. They take their vitamins randomly during the day, with coffee, with heavy meals, when the body is in doing mode, not repair mode, and the nutrients pass through without being fully used. It's like delivering construction materials to a house while no builders are present. The supplies arrive, but the work never gets done. This is why timing matters. Taking the right vitamins before bed is like ringing the bell that tells your body, now it is time to repair, now it is time to drain, now it is time to soften. Supplements taken by habit do little. Supplements taken with purpose, at the exact moment the body is ready, create a completely different result. And this is the gentle truth I want you to hold. Vitamins do not heal on their own. They give your body instructions. And when those instructions arrive at the right time, your body already knows exactly what to do. And now, let me begin with the third vitamin, the one that quietly helps your body move fluids again and begins the drainage from the inside. Now let me begin with the third vitamin, the one that works quietly in the background, helping your body move fluids again. This one is vitamin B6. Most people think of B6 only for energy or mood, but very few realize how deeply it affects fluid balance, nerve signaling, and microcirculation. Vitamin B6 helps your cells move sodium and water in and out properly. When this process is smooth, your tissues stay soft and flexible. When it is blocked, fluid stays trapped, and that trapped fluid becomes swelling. When B6 begins to run low, the signs are often subtle at first. A little tingling in the feet, a heavy feeling in the lower legs, shoes that feel tight sooner in the day, socks that leave deeper marks. Over time, the body begins to hold water instead of releasing it. And now here is where the night becomes so important. At night, your nervous system changes gears. It shifts from action to repair. That is when nerve signals slow down, soften, and reset. Vitamin B6 plays a key role in this transition. It helps calm excessive nerve firing, it helps regulate fluid movement at the cellular level, and it supports gentle drainage while you sleep. This is why B6 is especially helpful for nighttime foot swelling, not because it forces water out, but because it restores your body's natural ability to let go. When taken before bed, B6 works with your sleep cycle instead of against it. It does not stimulate the mind like caffeine. It does not disrupt rest. In fact, many people notice they fall asleep more peacefully when their nerve chemistry is supported correctly. Now let me tell you what often happens when B6 begins to work again. Within the first few nights, many people report their feet feel slightly lighter in the morning, the skin feels less tight, the pressure inside the toes feels reduced, the tingling becomes quieter. After about a week or two, the sock marks become softer. The shoes feel more forgiving again. Walking feels less dense, less heavy. Not dramatic overnight miracles, but steady, gentle release. And always remember this, vitamin B6 does not push water out. It reminds the body how to move it correctly again, and that is powerful. Now let me take you to the second vitamin, the one that goes deeper into the muscles, into the veins, and into the silent inflammation that keeps swelling alive. Now let me take you to the second vitamin. This one goes deeper than fluid. It goes into the muscles, the veins, and the silent inflammation hiding in your tissues. This one is vitamin D3. Most people know it as the bone vitamin, but after 60, it becomes one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory vitamins your body depends on. When vitamin D3 runs low, the body quietly begins to swell from the inside, not always with visible redness, not always with sharp pain, but with aching feet at night, heavy calves that feel tight, rigid ankles in the morning, that deep soreness that feels like it lives inside the tissue. That is inflammation, and inflammation traps fluid. Now here is what almost no one explains clearly. After 60, more than 70% of people are deficient in vitamin D3, not a little low, seriously low. Why? because aging skin produces far less vitamin D from sunlight, because digestion becomes less efficient, because many medications block its absorption. So even people who walk every day in the sun may still be deficient. And when vitamin D3 is low, three things happen at once. Muscle repair slows down, veins lose elasticity, inflammation quietly rises, and that is when swelling stops resolving on its own. Now let me share a story. A woman in her early 70s came to me with constant ankle swelling, not extreme, but persistent. By evening, her feet burned, her calves felt like they were under pressure, her shoes felt tight even in sandals. She had been told, it's just age, just circulation. But when we tested her vitamin D3 levels, they were profoundly low. We corrected that deficiency gently, taken at night. Within 2 weeks, she told me something simple but powerful. My legs feel softer when I wake up. After a month, the nightly burning was gone. The tightness had eased. And for the first time in years, the swelling was no longer controlling her evenings. Now let me explain why nighttime is so important for vitamin D3. Vitamin D activates genes related to muscle repair, immune regulation, and anti-inflammatory control. Those processes peak during deep sleep. So when you take D3 at night, you are not just supplementing, you are synchronizing it with your body's repair clock. That is when it works best. Not as a stimulant, but as a signal that tells your muscles to relax, your vessels to soften, and your tissues to release trapped inflammation. Many people feel the difference not as energy, but as less pressure inside the legs, less burning, less nighttime discomfort, less morning stiffness. Now let me be clear, vitamin D3 does not force drainage. It clears the inflammation that is blocking the drainage, and that changes everything. But even D3 alone cannot complete the full release, because the final step, the one that truly directs where fluid and calcium go, requires the most overlooked vitamin of all, and that is the one I'm about to show you now. Now let me show you the most important one. The one almost no senior is told about, the one that decides whether swelling becomes chronic or whether the body finally releases it for good. This one is vitamin K2, not K1, K2, and yet it is the most ignored vitamin in modern nutrition. Now listen to this carefully. Vitamin K2 does not remove water. It decides where calcium goes in your body. And that matters more than most people realize. Without K2, calcium drifts into soft tissues, into joints, into blood vessel walls, into areas where it creates stiffness, pressure, and blockage. That stiffness compresses circulation. That compression traps fluid. And that trapped fluid becomes swelling that refuses to go away. This is why so many seniors wake up with stiff ankles, hard-feeling soles of the feet, a dense, heavy sensation when they take their first steps. It's not just water, it's blocked tissue. Now here is what makes K2 so powerful. Vitamin K2 acts like a traffic controller. It pulls calcium out of the soft tissue and sends it back into the bones where it belongs. When this happens, three things change at once. Blood vessels soften, tissues decompress, fluid finally begins to move again. This is why without K2, you can take B6, you can take D3 and still feel stuck because the pathway is still blocked. But when K2 is added, that blockage begins to dissolve. And now let me show you something important. Vitamin D3 opens the door for calcium to enter the bloodstream. Vitamin K2 tells that calcium where to go. This is why they must work together. D3 without K2 can even make stiffness worse in some people. But together, they create release instead of pressure. And that release shows up very clearly in the feet. People begin to notice ankles that feel less rigid, plantar tightness that softens, a lightness when walking that hasn't been felt in years. Not floating, not dramatic, but free of that dense, stuck feeling. Now, why does taking K2 at night multiply its effect? Because calcium shifting, tissue remodeling, and vessel repair all peak during deep sleep. At night, the body enters rebuild mode. So when you take K2 before bed, you are not supplementing, You are directing repair. And that is why night dosing matters. Many people don't feel this as energy. They feel it as, I don't feel trapped inside my feet anymore. I don't feel like my ankles are locked. I walk lighter. And that is the ultimate sign that swelling is no longer in control. Now let me be clear. Vitamin K2 does not act fast like a diuretic. It acts like a restoration signal, slow, deep, lasting. This is why it becomes the foundation when swelling has stayed for years. And now that you understand the 3 vitamins, the one that moves fluid, the one that calms inflammation, and the one that clears the path, it's time to talk about what can quietly destroy all of this work without you noticing, and that is what I'm about to show you next. Now, before I close this gentle circle of repair with your body, there is something I must tell you, because many seniors take the right vitamins and still wake up with swollen feet, not because the vitamins failed, but because quietly the night itself is undoing the work. Let me show you the 4 most common mistakes I see over and over again. The first one is drinking too much liquid right before bed. Water is healing. Herbal tea can be beautiful. But when you pour too much into your body late at night, your lymphatic system cannot process it. So instead of draining, that fluid settles straight into the feet and ankles. You wake up not refreshed, but heavy. The second mistake is hidden salt in light dinners, soups, crackers, cheese, prepared meals. You think you ate something gentle, but salt pulls water into the tissues and locks it there. You may not taste it, but your feet feel it by morning. The third mistake is alcohol used as relaxation, a glass of wine to unwind, a small drink to sleep better. It feels relaxing at first, but alcohol blocks the lymphatic drainage system. It paralyzes the very mechanism that clears fluid while you sleep, so your body cannot release. It can only store. And the fourth mistake is sleeping with the feet completely flat. All night long, gravity keeps fluid in the lowest point of the body. The feet, just a small elevation, a folded pillow, a slight lift, is enough to remind the body that it's allowed to drain. And now I want to say this very clearly. You cannot drain swollen feet if you keep feeding what causes the swelling. You don't need perfection. You only need cooperation with the body instead of fighting it. When you remove these blockers, the vitamins no longer have to struggle uphill. They finally get to work in peace. And now, once those obstacles are removed, something very quiet, very powerful begins to happen inside you. And that is what I want to show you next. Now, let me help you understand what usually happens when the body finally begins to drain the way it was always meant to. Because this is not a miracle that explodes overnight. It is a quiet, steady return to balance. During the first week, most people notice something subtle, not dramatic, but meaningful. That heavy pressure in the feet late at night begins to soften. You lie down, and the throbbing is less intense. You may still see swelling, but it doesn't feel as tight. That tells me the body has started to open the drainage pathways again. In the second week, the signs become more visible. Those deep sock marks around your ankles begin to fade faster. Your skin feels softer instead of stretched. You might even look at your feet one morning and think, they don't look as puffy as they used to. That is not coincidence. That is movement returning. By the first full month, something beautiful often happens. You stand up, you take your first steps, and your feet feel lighter. Not perfect, but lighter. Some people tell me their shoes fit again. Others say they can walk longer before feeling that familiar pressure. And the most important change of all, they stop thinking about their feet all the time. And that, my dear, is freedom. Now let me say this gently and clearly. This process is accumulative. It builds, it layers, it deepens. It is not instant, but it is real. The body does not rush. The body restores. And when you give it the right signals night after night, it never forgets how to release what it no longer needs. Now, I want to speak to something very deep that many of you feel, but rarely say out loud. The fear of losing your mobility, the fear of one day not trusting your own steps, the quiet exhaustion of living with heavy feet, of planning your day around how much you think you'll be able to walk, of wondering if the swelling will be worse tomorrow. I see that fear in so many eyes, and I want you to hear this from me slowly and clearly. Your feet are not failing you. They are asking for support. They are not betraying you. They are communicating with you. Every bit of swelling, every ache, every tight step in the morning is the body whispering, I need help to release. And here is the part that so many people need to hear. It is never too late to feel lighter again. Not at 60, not at 70, not even at 80. I have watched people who thought their body was finished begin to soften, begin to drain, begin to move with ease again, simply because they finally understood what their body had been asking for all along. You are not broken. You are not too old to change. And you certainly are not meant to live your days feeling trapped inside your own feet. There is still softness available to you. There is still lightness possible. There is still dignity in the way you move, and you deserve to feel it again. Before we part for tonight, I want to remind you of something simple, but very meaningful. If you would like me to send you a small gift that supports everything you've learned today, just write these words in the comments. I want to improve my health. Nothing more. Just that. I personally read through these messages, and it helps me know who is truly ready to walk this gentle healing path with their body. And if this time together gave you clarity or hope, or even just a feeling of being understood, I would love for you to tap the like button and subscribe, not for numbers, but so we can continue this quiet conversation about aging with dignity, softness, and strength. And if someone you love struggles with swollen feet, heavy legs, or that tired pressure at the end of the day, share this with them. Sometimes one small message at the right time can ease years of quiet discomfort. Now, as you prepare for the night, I want you to imagine this. You lie down. Your feet rest gently on the bed. The tightness begins to soften. The skin relaxes. The pressure slowly releases. With every breath, your body lets go of what it no longer needs to carry. The feet grow lighter. The legs feel calmer. And the whole lower body finally sinks into rest. You are safe to release now. You are supported, and your body knows what to do. Sleep well, my dear, and I'll see you again very soon.